is an easy recommend if you're just trying to watch something that has really entertaining fights to watch. I recommend The God of High School, like right there.
Kim Un-yo, progenitor of the human race and mentor of the six, the strongest and most important involved in the tournament. I love that we met her in the last episode, which is great. Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules and Matt Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back here and talk about it. And today is the last time we're going to be talking about The God of High School. We've done it. We did it. We're going to keep on going. We're going to talk all about season 1 and the last 4 episodes in this podcast, and we're going to pick a brand new anime for you coming up this next week. So by the end of the show, we're going to have a new anime that you would need to watch. It's going to be on the test. We're going to ask for you to get homework done. Just watch 4 episodes of anime probably, and it may be your favorite. It may be a really bad one. Who knows? But we're going to all watch it together. So out of all of those anime, we're going to pick, and maybe if you'd like, with a $5 super chat on YouTube or 500 bits on Twitch, you could add an anime of your own. If you're like, hey, I really want them to watch this, 500 bits or $5 super chat, and then we're going to rate that anime and just keep on going. I don't go on these anime journeys alone. I go with my co-host Matt Galley. Matt, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing really well. I'm excited to share my thoughts on these last 4 episodes of Tower of God.
No, God of High School.
God of High School. Pick something else out and keep our train going here because I don't know, this one kind of like had some more momentum to it, and it's like for me a reminder, oh yeah, we can find some good stuff.
There is good stuff out there.
There is good stuff, but sometimes, even the good, there's good in the bad in the good, and everything in between.
But the bad helps you realize what is the good. It honestly,
for dang sure.
Yeah, it honestly makes me be like, oh yeah, that's something I didn't notice, and I just assumed that all anime did it this way, and this one's not doing it. So like, it helps me realize the good stuff that I do enjoy. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. Hello, Cosmo, Pappy, Jules, and Zaddy Galley. Oh my god, am I gonna leave? Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. I thought I was gonna have an issue like last time, but there you go. Please share your Crunchyroll account. Oh yeah, sure. I'll give it to everybody for free just to watch my. Can you do? I mean, I know. Oh, there goes Matt. Rip Matt. Can y'all still see? Where did Matt go? I'm alone. I'm in the middle. I'm sorry. There he is. That's what was happening. Something did happen. You got kicked for some reason.
Yeah, that was weird.
No, I will not be sharing my Crunchyroll account. You have to pay. Sorry about that. God of High School.
Give them money.
I want to talk a little bit broadly about the season.
Sure.
And then we'll get into the last 4 episodes. It had some huge momentum.
Yes.
A lot of big action, epic moments in these last 4. Wait, did we crash? Okay,
Hello?
We're back. Yeah, I guess so. Whatever, we're here. A lot of big epic moments. But the story was a little convoluted there at the end, and I really felt like they were trying to, like, they're doing the juggling balls here. They're juggling these 3, and then someone just keeps throwing them in, and we're having a hard time doing all of them. And it's like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we need this? And I'm sure it's like a big thing in the manhwa when it happened, but like some of this extra other character stuff, I was like, it could have been a more tailored experience towards the end. I don't know if you're feeling the same way.
No, yeah. I don't even think necessarily just towards the end. I do think all throughout, even though the show has really good pacing in terms of that, like it moves forward at a really good pace that's satisfying for like the action and the story beats. But I think that the pacing, because of it also like, it's very easy for me to kind of my brain to glaze over the not so important or impactful, I should say, the not so impactful things that are happening, or when the beats are hitting that kind of have you coming to your own conclusions about certain things
Sure.
naturally and don't really but again, it's like it's one of those things where it's like show don't tell
Uh-huh.
sometimes is more powerful in storytelling, but sometimes we just need that little bit of like the tell to contextualize certain things. That way we don't feel like Deus Ex Machinas are getting pulled out from under the hat at the last
Sure.
moment and stuff like that, which that like I'm saying that like not directly at the show, but kind of as a generalization in terms of like how I think effective storytelling um
Should
and
be.
it should be, yeah. But
And I mean, we did agree, both of us did agree that we loved the showing. We loved that they showed us and didn't tell us a whole lot. But if they do it every time, it's like, okay, I'm trying to connect the dots here, but sometimes I need you to tell me this guy's this
mhm,
guy's this,
mhm,
and so happens because of it. And it's
mhm,
just a lot of show. And I'm like, I don't, there's so many characters, there's a lot
yes.
of faces, and I'm like, I'm really
What I
trying.
do appreciate is that even though there wasn't a lot of telling and the world's mostly showing, the showing to me consistently kept like a kind of like ramp up of intensity and stakes, and that's kind of what kept me grounded in is that like everything kept getting more of like a sense of urgency and like, oh no, things are like really could go wrong, like really bad here, but how are they gonna avoid this? uh but
Definitely. Something
it
else, um, I was I had just noticed this when I was, like, getting my notes together and, like, highlighting stuff. There's a lot of J names, and, like, I get
um,
J is a powerful name to have, like, as a main character in anime where, like, a J name is like, okay, that's powerful, you want it to be powerful, but there's a lot of different J names here, and I'm, like, reading it over, I'm like, "Okay, who is that again? Like, which one's this one?" And, like, I was trying to think, like, and I was trying to give, take it with a grain of salt because I'm like, is it because they're not American names? And I was like, is that why I'm like having a hard time understanding? But then I was thinking, like, no, in a show, if there was three or four characters with M names, I'm like, you can pick a different letter to start the name with. I don't know. It was just something I noticed. And I was like, I don't think it is just because it's in a different language. I think it would have been stronger if each name and person
like
was a little more distinct.
like Adam, Andy, and Austin. Like if
Yeah,
those were
bro.
like
Like,
the main characters, and like it's like why are we why are they all A names?
hold on. Contrast, Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
That
Hold on.
if that's the
Instantly.
bit, then that's the bit. But I don't think it's the bit here.
Hold on. I just took away my whole argument there. Let's get into it. Episode 10, Oath and Meeting. What happened in the God of High School? Episode 10, Oath and Meeting. Jules starts with a J. It does. I'm saying I'm a strong main character.
Watch that.
What happens in episode 10?
Episode what was it? Episode 9.
10.
Ilpio and Take are shown to have a history with each other as current day Take is making way trying to get the key. Han begins his match interjected with Teen Soul meeting with Park for some advice. Han's Charyok seals his win as Nox continues to make their moves behind the scenes. Ilpio fights Jin and coaches him on his biggest weaknesses, and Nox summons their god to destroy the world as Jin closes the gap on his weaknesses. The streets turn into a battlefield as the god of high school association fights with Nox and their approaching god. Jin's grandfather in the past asked Ilpio to look out for him in a flashback as Ilpio awakens with the power of the nine-tailed spirit.
Ooh,
Ooh,
buddy.
baby.
Big deal here. We get a lot of flashback with Jaggle Talk, Tyke. We see Young
You're
Zalay,
sorry.
how Ilpio's gonna fight for her, and how much Jaggle wants to get the key as well. My whole thing with the whole Jaggle arc, and it's gonna get more intense as we go into this. Like, where is he like in this whole thing? Like, we have Knox, we have the commission with Park, and then we have Jago kind of here doing the same thing, wanting the key as well. And I don't know if I ever got like real clarity because I know he's fighting for himself,
Mm-hmm.
but like I don't know if I got clarity on like, well, is he really like a bad guy on par with Nox, like the cult group? Like, is he just the big bad, which is fine, but I don't know if I got clarity on like where he stands really.
He is a winner.
A what?
A winner.
Oh, that's true.
He's not a loser.
Okay,
He made that
good enough
very
for me.
clear. That's, I mean, I'm right there with you where it's just like, yeah, I mean, I'll take that he, usurps the big bad nature from Nox now, because they're kind of maybe trying to set up Nox as more of like, season
Uh,
2 long term, yeah, a bit the
mhm.
long term protagonist, where we saw a few like Nox Chariok users or something like that as assassins. So there's grains of salt there that can turn into more, but uh for this guy take, yeah, I feel like it's hard to have the big bad feel compelling when they're being introduced at the
Super late.
you know halfway through the first season, and then
Mhm.
it's not until like 3/4 of the way through the first season that they're starting to actually feel like they have a presence.
When we already had an even bigger bad introduced since the beginning. So
Mhm.
it's like, okay,
I
who's this
think
guy?
if you had made his whole shark stick like more like unsettling and more like
Sure.
brooding, where that like you could tell there was something wrong with it, but I really thought like, oh, it's just Shark God.
Yeah.
So
I was like,
they
okay.
like, then all of a sudden after this the flashback sequence that we're gonna get in the next episode.
Well, this
Um
flashback was of him.
in episode 12 we get a flashback that shows his like power in a different, all like decrepit, and
Sure.
I forgot what the word for it was that it used, but it's just like, he doesn't feel like an actual bad guy. He just feels like a very strong contestant in this tournament. We see that he has history with Ilpio, but is like that what it's trying to say is that like that moment where Ilpio like fought him and made him like, beat him into the ground and made him say that he was saying, say you're sorry over and over again. It was that moment, the moment when he was like, all right, now I wanna destroy the world.
I don't know. Yeah. I really don't know. I mean, I get that he's a bad guy and he is a formidable fighter, but like you were saying, I just think of him as somebody that we're gonna overcome in the God of High School tournament, not ending up being what he ends up at the end. And I'm just like, okay, cool. We get some information about the whole Nox group, some definite answers to what they're kind of after. So Nox believes in a certain god. They're trying to get rid of other gods, and they don't tolerate other Chariok users. We did get the name of the leader. I don't think we had the name of the leader before. Sang Mandyok. He shows his face. He has the sign of Omega on his arms, and then kind of like what we predicted last time. And I didn't know we were going to get it in episode 10. It just goes breaks away from the God of High School, but while a God of High School is happening, it's just like, okay, we're gonna do this now. Opening up a portal in the sky for the large sword that we've already seen, and it's like in broad daylight, in the middle of the city. I'm like, oh, we're doing it now.
We're
Oh,
doing it.
brother. Um, I like all of the emotion uh from one Park fighting Sang Mandyok, the leader of the cult, but also Jin versus Ilpio. I really loved this fight. I think this is one of my favorite fights out of that show because of the way that Ilpio's talking to Jin, the way that um it looked so beautiful. And then when Jin pulled out at first the Moonlight Sword style, I got hyped. I was
Yeah,
like,
I got hype.
"Oh my god." I was like, "Yo, bro, and then he uses Han's stances too." And I'm like, this dude, this guy, of course. And it's just so good. It's just great ramping up and like the rule of cool we've been talking about. Like he's using his friend's moves, and here you
Right.
go. You weren't expecting that, bro. And he just does it. So
I
good.
like how he's able to like, pull out things that kind of like close his weaknesses. He's able to identify that like, I can't do this. I have to go and go beyond like past what I've done. Like this is a fight of a different level. And I'm not even
Mhm.
joking, like just for me, seriously, it feels like, the first time you really get like three stocked playing Super Smash Brothers, like one on one, and then
Yeah.
you're just like, wow, there's still a lot for me to learn. Like that's that feeling when you're just
Yeah.
like that everything I try and
Mhm.
nothing's working, and then
Mhm.
you have to pull out something that's just like
Next
exactly
level.
what he was saying. Like you have to start not being so obvious about your moves. You have to stop overcompensating and start, using your power equally and stuff like that. Just
Mhm.
it's a lot of stuff that you can see as the fights have gone on. That's how everybody's been fighting. We talked about it, like at first it was the battle royale and everybody's just throwing out haymakers, but as this tournament has progressed, you need to evolve and become a better fighter. And the show has, I feel like, done a great way of showing Jin evolving as a fighter as he's been going through this tournament.
Definitely. We get rooftop battle sort of I think it was a member of the Six. I don't know his name, or I don't have his name here, but he has a bunch of national treasures just trying to wreck shop there. And they're just wrecking cultists left and right down on the street. The music was epic. It was
The
cinema.
music was really good in these episodes.
I
The
was
music was
going.
really good.
It really matched the pacing for the show and what they were showing, and it added to it, and it was just so good. Jin releases his original 3 Blue Dragon Tempest. The sword was cleansed, and Ilpio promised to teach Jin a few things, and he did. Ilpio question mark turns into the key here at the end. He gets the power of the nine tail. That's what I thought at the end of this episode. I was like, oh, Ilpio's the key. I was like,
Mhm.
whoa, that's not what I expected, but that was a good cliffhanger for episode 10. What happens in episode 11, Lay Key?
We are shown the context of the fox spirit in heaven before Park and Nox become aware of the key awakening. Ilpio begins to overpower Jin before he is able to turn the tables using the power of the god of the gods to strike down Ilpio. Nox retreats for now as Park is left scratching his head, and Jin visits Ilpio after their match, but a sudden attack from Tyke and a Jean demon absorbing other people leaves Ilpio's team with dismembered limbs. Nox once again makes a move for the key as they release their god as well as the forces of heaven as the god of high school comes to an end.
It's all ogre
It's
now.
all ogre now.
So get information about the nine-tailed fox, the guardian of God. I didn't watch a whole lot of Naruto. Is this kind of what Naruto is? Is this the same nine-tailed fox?
It's
Possibly.
it seems, referential to that Naruto is probably referencing to this tall tale, this folk legend of
Definitely.
sorts.
Of the guardian of God. God feared the spirit of the nine-tailed fox. Um, he destroyed half of heaven, descended to earth, and swore revenge on God, and went into a deep sleep, and has awoken into Ilpio's aura, which is
Bro, it's
insane.
whoa.
Nox wants to destroy it. Um, Jin gets punched hella hard a bunch, and it was kind of intense. Jin awakens somewhat, and the crowd sees the sky changing. Literally, the hand of God squashed Ilpio, which is insane. These scenes are, I've got to say, like, if anything, whether I have mixed feelings about the story towards the end for sure, but
Hmm.
I really appreciate this anime because of its ambition
Hmm.
and trying to do so much that hit or miss, they're going to do it. They're taking big swings.
Anticipation.
Yeah, it's so good in the swings that they're taking, and I really appreciate them just trying things and doing some cool animation stuff. Really fun animation in this anime. We get this whole hospital scene. This is the first time where I'm like, the pacing's a little weird, and then we get this guy
I
Gene.
felt like something was about to happen in this moment. Like I was
Yeah.
like, you could feel the I don't know, there's like just a lingering feeling in the air, I guess, and then the Jean demon
Jukok.
comes
Yeah.
comes stumbling along, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, the things are about to just kind of go from here, I bet.
Yeah.
Over the last three episodes.
Ilpio's team is disfigured by um Jean or Jagle? Jean?
Uh
Oh, was it
it's
Jagle?
it's Jagle that attacks the demon thing. And
Mhm.
then like as he's attacking it, their legs, their a leg and an arm get like goes with him too.
Mhm.
So it was like, it was kind of an accident, it seemed like. It's not like he aimed his attack to do that to them, but he just did it without thinking.
Mhm. I like how they changed the intro twice in this anime by just recoloring scenes from the anime. That's how you cut corners while making a good anime. That's one thing that I, as well, gotta say is that I feel like how big was this budget? Because it doesn't show if they were stretched for money at all. Like they really did put their what I mean, it was backed by Crunchyroll, right? So
Hmm.
they got to be a lot of money
And
behind
Webtoon.
that. And Webtoon. So like it probably was a bigger budget than other anime, but I really think that every scene they give it their all to make it look really cool. And even in like I mean the what is it? Like how we said that some fights were like
Hand
some
trace or
hand
the
trace or the
brush, the brush
brush
looking,
strokes and
yeah.
stuff like that. Like even that could be like a huge animation like cost saver thing, but it still looked really cool. And that was
Yeah.
such a cool thing that
Style
added
over
to the fights.
substance.
Yeah, and the style was really cool. So I definitely like this anime because it doesn't feel like they cut corners. Like I can't tell or I didn't see a scene and I was like, "Oh, that's not well done." Like, what'd you
Mhm.
do? Like you spent all this money on this one fight, but not this one.
Any
No.
time the characters are drawn anything of like, lower quality than when they're like the because there's a lot of close-up shots, there's a lot of dynamic looking shots, but all the fight scenes where like um the camera's like moving around at crazy angles and stuff, it always just flows really good and nothing like everything's just like, my eyes just love looking at it. It's just very like pleasant, it's very colorful, it's very expressive. And again, it's the whole idea that like even in the fights like we're getting story without having to get exposition dumped at us.
Yeah, man, that Ilpio versus Jin fight was just so good. In the way he's like, yeah, he's trying to teach him something. And it's like, oh, he's doing it just by like one little sentence, like, oh, you got to do this, like, you got to do this. And it's like, and then he does his friend's moves, and it's like, oh, like it really fulfills what it's trying to do. And like you're saying, not, I'm going to stand here and tell you my plan, and I'm going to stand here and tell you my next couple moves. And it's like so refreshing. It's so good. Sang Mariok, the cult leader, unleashes demons onto the world, and Park announces the God of High School is over. Pack it up. That's the end of the show. God of High School is over. Nope. Episode 12. What happens in episode 12? Fox God.
The god of Nox makes its presence known as it continues to descend. John's grandfather heads into town, and Tyke shows us a flashback of his growth and heritage. Ilpio finds himself outmaneuvered by Tyke, and the key is tossed up in the air. World powers break their contract with Park and fire nuclear missiles at the descending god. Park sends all the fighting contestants to a different location where Tyke continues to menace everyone, leaving Jin to be the one to fight him. John's grandfather, one of the six, casts a magic spell to remove everyone from the city and combines all of the nuke missiles into one mega nuke and uses a meteor to accelerate it onto the god. Tyke, however, absorbs the key and ascends into what seems like a godhood.
Whoa, maybe Jaggle's the key. Whoa, man. So this is the
This is where
episode
it started
where
to lose me, story wise.
yeah, it was kind of a lot. Um, and this is where it felt like it was moving so fast. We do
Mhm.
so many things. There's so many different set pieces, and we just have to go and follow it breakneck speed. because it's just going. So we get the whole, I mean, we're at the scene of the city where everything's happening, where the gods descending, where all these little demon things are descending, and um we
I
get
feel like this event should have just been what already happened in episode 10 when like the gate opened the first time. They should have just
yes.
gone into this and just started diving right into this whole
Yeah.
concept. The fact that the gates opened once and they open again, even though it's like, oh, this time the god like goes gold and all of these little angels are flying out of it too. Like again, it still ramps up the stakes and stuff, but the first time I feel like it would have just given the proper amount of time for this entire concept to kind of like play through the to the end with weight, especially when you consider that this one's 13 episodes and not 12. It's like you have a whole extra episode compared to some of your contemporaries. So like, yeah, just hit that point in episode 10 and write it out. I know that's not necessarily at fault of the storyboard people as they are,
Following what
yeah,
the
following
story
the
says.
manhwa. So that's like, down to the manhwa's source material, but still, that's just how I feel.
I think as well, the way to do that would have been to have the god enter in super slow, and they could have just bought time that way to make it just one summoning in general in the sky, and then just have it like be there like just like super slow. And it's like, oh, it's coming.
Like a Majora's
Y-
Mask type deal.
Yeah, it's on its way. And then we do all this other stuff. Like the US who are like, bro, this thing, so we're gonna nuke this shit. And I'm like, God damn it, United States, what are you doing? Like, God damn it. Like, we can't. This is why. This is
Insert
what they think of us.
extremely loud eagle screeching sound.
Yeah. Just fucking flag going everywhere. Let's nuke them.
Bow now, bow now.
It's like, God damn it. Yeah. Oh man. Of course we had to do that. And I was like, fuck it, whatever, man. I guess. This
Yeah, I
is
mean that made sense to me. The whole yeah, we see gods coming out of the sky. We're gonna try to nuke them. Of yeah, that's 100%. That's I'm still with it on that point. But for me, it's like with the whole concept of the key kind of like becoming a hot potato. Like that's
yeah.
where it's just like, what's going on?
Yeah. It's like an actual thing.
People are grabbing this thing, it's landing in their hands, and they're like, oh yes, the most powerful item that like I've ever been looking for. Here it is, right here in my hands. Ow, I got kicked in the back. There it goes.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, you guys, what are we doing?
Mhm.
We had it, so we had all of the intensity, all of the stakes around this thing. It's been building up to this moment, and we're gonna treat it like a hot potato. Like
I
I'm
mean,
laughing, and it's just
yeah.
like I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, but it's just like, is there really no other better way we could have handled that?
I mean, I think that's kind of how I feel about the anime as well as a whole. Like, I'm like, you have this amazing anime. Thank you for this. This is so great. I appreciate it. Look at the anime. Oh my God, the last couple episodes. I'm like, what are we doing? What's happening? I mean, I still love
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Still great, but it's like, what are these two last episodes? Because again, something that doesn't necessarily makes sense to me, and I guess season 2 is going to explain it. What are Park's actual abilities? What are the Six's abilities? Because we have Park that opens up an entire domain, I guess is the only way I can explain it.
literally domain expanded.
Literal domain expansion here is like, let me just, it's up to y'all. I don't know, man. It's up to y'all. And then Jaggle's here as well. It's like, well, fuck, man. It's up to y'all three. Your three are going to be there. And then, was it in this episode? Yes. What's his name's grandpa, Jason teleported every single person in Seoul away from everything that's happening. What are the powers of the Six? Are they
Yeah,
not
it's like
Charyok?
at first I'm like, everybody's like, what's going on with this? Who did that? That was pretty strong. And I'm just like, yeah, who did do that? Like, what's going on? And then he reveals
Yeah.
himself and he's like, oh, I'm one of the six. And then I'm just like, oh, okay. Like I can just barely suspend my disbelief enough because we've established the six is these super strong people that's something that he'd be capable of doing. But and like again, it's the whole idea, like, even like in the tournament with his grandson, I'm like, this guy's just casting spells. He's just got magic, like
It's not
he's got
magic.
martial
He's the
arts.
magician. Yeah. That's his power.
All fighting styles, I guess. Not really a martial art, but it's a fighting style. So like that was just very, kind of like out there compared to everybody else. So it's like it comes back into the realm of like I can suspend my disbelief belief enough to stick with it, but it's just like, but there, I'm sure there's like better ways that we could have handled that, or you know what I mean.
I mean, it's kind of like what you were saying, like the Deus Ex Machina, just like, oh, I can teleport everybody away. And it's like,
Exactly.
okay, that's cool, I guess, right at the
Why didn't
end.
you just teleport the god away? I don't know.
What? I didn't think about that. Something I did like in this episode was the way that they were fighting there. It was Jago versus Han and Mira. And we've seen these same characters, and they've just all, like, if you look at on a scale and if you pulled every single like fight that these three characters have had, they've all just been so different. And I
Mhm.
love that. I love that they were combining Charyok a little bit. We did get information about Han's Charyok, which is like this healing water thing, but it was just this bigger thing, this bigger fight. And I really like how no two fights, even though we're seeing the same characters on screen, two fights are the same. And I really do appreciate that, how they made them so different and kept it interesting.
Yeah, even going back to the fight with
Ilpio?
Jin and Ilpio, you can just feel Jin struggling real, like you feel it in how he's animated and how they're the all of the different effects that they're using and stuff. You can just see that his everything that he's doing is to no avail, and it's really cool to see the how, the tables turn and then him finally start to get his footing. Ilpio's reaction when he realizes that he's actually responding to his advice and stuff. It's all really good. All the fights just manage to be super entertaining to watch, and I'm never bored through the fights. That's
Mm-hmm.
something I can't say about this show.
Gion Jason does the whole teleporting thing. He uses power in the nukes to kill the everything in the sky, pretty much. Everybody gets teleported back. Jin gets captured by Jagle, and Jagle turned into a baby really quickly for a little bit, and then he
Bro,
has
he had
wings
some
now.
baby cheeks just out.
Baby cheeks
Just
was
like, what
out
are
for
we
a
doing?
while. It was there. They lingered on that shot a little too hard, cameraman. What was
Yeah.
going on there?
And then it cut to the wings growing, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is too close. I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah. What's happening here?
And then it cut out again, and then he's just like an adult
An
again.
adult.
And I'm just like, all right.
Okay, cool,
Sure.
sure. So that's penultimate episode. And we get into the season finale, episode 13. God, what happens in episode 13?
Jin activates more pressure points, reminding himself of advice given by the Divine Doctor. Han protects Jin and Mita, causing Jin to spiral and have memories rushing back to him. Jin summons a mighty weapon and turns the tables on Tyke, leaving everyone to watch in awe as Park explains that Jin is a god in the flesh as he walks. Tyke goes incoherent and becomes a big ol' monster, leaving everyone to work together to take it down. And Tyke leaves behind the same words someone once left to him. Kim is awakened and grants Team Soul their wish as Jin relents on wishing for his grandfather. He wishes for everyone who got wounded to be healed back to normal. We see what all the characters are up to, setting up for a second season and leaving us with a cliffhanger of what seems to be Jin's grandfather wishing for his grandson to come to defeat him.
Woo! There it is. I think this was Jagle. Jagle says he would like to consume all and return to nothingness. Oh no, that was the power of the key. The power of the key gives humans the ability to consume all and return. I think that's what it was. I don't know why I wrote this and I put the power of the key. Jago has epic powers and stopped the Moonlight Sword with a finger. So we already see the power scaling for new Jago. Um, we got a lot of stuff that you already said. Han saves them, but gets speared, and that leads Jin to summon Nyobo, where Jin flashes back to an older time, and Jin is Saiten Taisei. This
The
fight,
Monkey King.
the Monkey King, the music was insane. Uh, the combination of the great animation and the music is just so good. Like when it's right, it's right. Um, the animation in this fight was just next level because there was just so much depth. The camera was they're fighting here and the camera was moving all around them, just
Hmm.
constantly circling them and moving at odd angles. And I'm like, this is so cool. It's just so dope.
And I love the shot of him on, what is it, Niobo?
Nyobo.
Um, the shot of him on Niobo as he's like commanding it to grow, and he charges up it and like starts to combo the guy back as the Niobo is like keeping him in combo range. I'm just like, that's so incredible. Like
So well thought out.
that's to me that's like, peak fight scene of like the character just got this cool new ability, and they're now immediately just showcasing everything that they're capable of doing with this. Because yeah, he starts to like use Niobo to dismantle all of the weird like ghoul things that the guy has, and it's one of those things where it's like you could it's the power fantasy of the fact that he can just grow that or shrink it at will, like as much as he wants, and it seems to just like shoot right through things. It's just crazy. It's you feel the impact of that fight scene, and it's just very I think it's a huge payoff, honestly.
Because also he gathers the weather from all around and just starts lightning striking Jaggle. I was like, oh, bro, insane. They say that Jin's power is not borrowed. He is a god in the flesh, the Monkey King. The cult leaves kind of anticlimactically. They were just like, oh, we're out. Here we go. Okay.
Time to regroup. Tactical retreat.
Yeah, Jiggle still is alive. Question mark. Jin can't summon his power. Ilpio comes. Bro, when Ilpio came in, I was like, let's fucking go. He still has his nine tails form. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I thought the key was the nine tails, so to speak. But it makes sense that like it's not, and I'm okay with that.
yeah. And he still has, and I'm
It's just
fine
like
with,
when the key left his body, he also went out of Nine Tails form. So I just assumed that.
yeah, it was that thing that gave him that form.
Hmm.
But no, it was him awakening, but he also had the power of the key inside of him. Um, I love that he joined. I really did love that Ilpio joined, but the song during this fight was way too vibey. It did not
No, I thought
match.
no, I so this is the thing. This is for I wanted to talk about that. Whew.
Sure.
For me, the second Tyke went like Nova and turned into the big monster, like he immediately loses all of his presence. He loses all of his like for like I understand how for some people oh no, big monster, like things are worse, but like realistically speaking, when that happens, a lot of villains like lose their villainous nature because now they're becoming more of like, this monogamous like just force of destruction that has no intent or anything. But like before, he's like a cunning, devious, like, uh presence. It's the same thing with like think Batman and Joker, where if like a Joker turns into like a huge like Hulk monster, he loses everything that like makes him a good villain for something else. So that's I feel like in that moment when Jin defeated him in his like real form, and then he went to like that was it. The actual fight was over, and then when he turned into a big monster, it was like, we got to clean things up, and it's just like, all right, guys, let's do this. And then
Let's get together.
it's not trying to be like an intense action scene. It's more
Okay.
just like, look at them, that like this is them now. They're super strong and they can just handle this. So
Okay.
like
I feel
That's
that.
me trying to justify it, but I can
Sure.
totally see how it was like it was a tonal shift in like
Yeah.
last episode bit, but that's me trying to like make an argument for it, I
No,
guess.
I do feel that. I understand. It's kind of like if you're playing a board game and you go all in something and you like go like, here we are, I'm gonna do the big move, and then you end up losing and you're like, oh man, and then after that you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna keep going in and I'm just gonna do whatever, and I'm gonna waste away my, I guess in poker or something, I'm gonna waste away my chips because I'm mad because I've lost in the big thing and not think clearly. And that's kind of like what Jiggle did. He was like,
You
fuck it,
lost. Yeah,
whatever, I'm gonna be this big monster, who cares? And
exactly.
then it's just like,
Exactly.
okay, I totally understand that. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that, but I can see the justification. The yellow jumpsuit girl goes to this big door and wakes up Kim Un Yo, the progenitor of the human race and mentor of the six, the strongest and most important involved in the tournament. I love that we met her in the last episode, which is great. This person was just there waiting for sleep, waiting in sleep. She's gonna be the one that grants the wish.
Woke up 2 weeks early.
Yeah, woke up 2 weeks early, giving Jin's
That's actually
wish.
how mad I am when people wake me up early. I'm just
This is
like,
how
I
you
woke
are.
up early to be here, so you get to take me how I am.
What does it say about Jin's character? That he's gonna fix up everybody in the battle and not choose like some huge thing. I mean, I guess it is huge. He did
It's like
fix somebody's arm and leg, but like,
I think it was
nah,
only like I think he just has this sound idea that like his grandfather's like after they told, I actually it was after um that they told him that. But I think he's just sound that he knows that his grandfather's out there, he's the strongest guy, he's okay. Even though he wants to see him, it's like I'm gonna find him. Like I'm gonna do that. And that's what he saw his friends choose. Like Mita chose like I don't want to wish that this is gonna become popular again. I'm gonna make it popular again. So I think for him that's like that helps him like kind of lean towards the idea I'm gonna find my grandfather. I don't want this person to just give that to me. I'm gonna go get that. And this is something that I could do for these people right here in front of me that I could lessen the burden that they didn't even necessarily deserve.
I feel like it's in line with something Gon would do from Hunter x Hunter, where like,
Or Tanjiro.
yeah, or something like main character vibes
Yeah,
where mainly I'm thinking Gon because like, finding his father or something like that. It's like if
fair.
he had that option of somebody giving his father to him, like right there, I think he would just be like, no, this is part of the thing. Like he wanted me to do this, and it's part of the journey for me in some way, and I'm gonna go do it. So I definitely feel those vibes here from Jin. It was a little, I felt a little weird about it just because I'm like, you could have wished for anything, kind of, and okay, with these guys getting these guys. Let me tell you, I wouldn't have done that. Whatever that says about my character.
Let me just wish that every nation has access to technology that can restore people's lost limbs at 100% accuracy.
Yeah, bro.
Boom.
Why don't we give nanotechnology to all the hospitals? Wish that. Then we could fix many legs and many arms.
But she
Anyways,
seemed to like literally cast magic.
yeah,
So like he could have literally wished for things that don't
that's what I'm saying.
exist.
That's why I felt kind of weird about it, because I'm
Yeah.
like, you're gonna wish for this tangible thing when you could.
But it's like, it
He wished
resonates
for
with him as a
this.
character. It resonates with him as a character, and I
Sure.
understand that they're trying to keep things within range of a narrative to scale, but still, if you're gonna get wishes involved, it's like playing D&D to level 20. I made it to level 20, wishes in my spell list. Let me cast my wish spell how I want.
Claire says they could have wished for a lifetime supply of calorie-free ice cream. That's true. Main point is, it feels like Jin wished for this person to be cured for cancer when he could have wished for the cure for cancer for everybody. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I feel.
Yes.
Jin was asleep for 3 months. Wild. We find out that Ilpio is the key's guardian. He has to go find the pieces of the key around the world. And the key is a power bestowed upon humans that allows them to break the taboo of humans can kill gods. with the key. So that allows humans to kill gods. That's why the key is so important. Ilpio is the key's guardian. Blah blah blah. Jin has to go to this god's homeland to unlock memories, and we get, like you're saying, just a bunch of different character stuff. How the cult leader um, is a diplomat of some kind now. I think that's what this handshake was. He's a part of some kind of Congress. I don't know. And then the cult says Knox says that his grandpa will bring them a new god, and it may end up being that Jin will have to face his grandpa as a new god that they're trying to breed him into and make come out of him. Maybe, I don't know. So that's pretty good cliffhanger for season 2. That's the God of High School. Those are our thoughts about the entire show. Now we're going to rate it. We rate anime on 3 criteria: animation, storytelling, and vibes. And along with your ratings, we have a conglomeration of ratings, and that'll go into one, and we'll give a final rating for the show. What would you rate the God of High School on animation?
Animation, I'm giving it an S. I mean, what more is there to say? The show is beautiful, vibrant, had many fights that felt different, dynamic. We got to see different art styles portrayed, different animation techniques pushed into areas where I don't think I've seen them kind of be attempted before. It was all really good and really easy on my eyes. It is an easy recommend if you're just trying to watch something that has really entertaining fights to watch. I recommend The God of High School, like right there. Jules, where are you gonna rate The God of High School for animation?
I'm gonna rate it an S as well. Like I said in a past episode, I think now that I've seen the last 4 episodes, um, it does kind of change my view a little bit. But I think overall, if you're looking, if you want to show your friend like a shonen type anime, I think this is the one where they wouldn't be bored and they get a good glimpse of what the genre can be, because it does have a lot of beautiful scenes, beautiful artwork, and it's just really cool to look at. And if somebody hasn't been exposed to this kind of content, it could be, and it starts off really quickly too, like quickly showing you these battles and stuff. So it doesn't show a bunch of like exposition. Here's the story, and then we get into the fights, and like, okay, I'm already lost. I'm not watching anymore. But it really jumps you into it and shows you some really cool stuff, and just continues with the cool fights. Like I said, all the fights don't look the same at all, and some really big leaps, like you were saying. So definitely animation an S for me. Where would you give the storytelling for the God of High School?
Storytelling, I'm giving it a B. The story serviced what the this type of show needed and wanted to be. But like I was saying, even though it held a good pace and the parts that aren't as compelling or impactful are farther and few between than the parts that are, they are still there, and they do in the moment pull back from the experience a little bit. I'm thankful that even though when those moments are happening, it's still beautifully animated and handled with like a sense of intention. But it's always like, we talk about how every time you have something on the screen, it's taking away from everything else that could be on the screen. So there are certain bits and pieces where it's just like, if you just pulled that out, I don't think the show would change at all. And that's not something good to say. But overall, that's like the only criticism that I can really find myself having with this show. So that puts it in a pretty good place, if not completely perfect. Oh well. Jules, where are you gonna rate The God of High School for storytelling?
Yeah, I really wanted to give this an S, but it definitely went down to A for me in these last 4 episodes, just because of some of the things you're saying, but also just how it went too fast with a lot of stuff. Again, I really think that some of the characters could have been phased out. And even though maybe they're big fans, some people are big fans of characters from the manhwa that are like, oh my God, they have to have this scene with this character or whatever. I really think it just was oversaturated with how many characters there are, how many names and all the action it was trying to show and all the moving parts. And I really did like it in the beginning, and it really had a great pace. It just feels like we were going at a breakneck speed in these last 4 episodes, and that really just made me sad because I wanted it to be a perfect anime and I really had high hopes, but the story was, it just got lowered to an A because I did like all the stuff before. But the last 2 episodes mainly, it was just like, where, what, why? And just those questions keep coming up during it. And I'm like, okay, and suspending my disbelief for this thing and this thing. And I'm just like, you had it, you gave it to me, and then you kicked the key out of my hands. Vibes, what would you give God of High School on vibes?
I am gonna give it an S on vibes because I was really vibing with this show. Fight scene to fight scene, I was just enjoying what was being put in front of me. Did enjoy the characters for what they were able to give and show. Like I said, even though sometimes like it's a case of if you pull this character or this event out, does the narrative change? No, then it's bad. But that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy most of the characters. The only characters I guess I really wanted more from was more characterization of Nox. That was really the what I really wanted a little bit more of. But again, I think once the B plot started treading into like 50-50 with the show, that's when it started to feel like things were starting to feel a bit narratively confused. But all the way when the B plot was taking a backseat to our three main characters, I was enjoying every second of this show. I loved seeing their progression, their friendship develop, and them take on the tournament and grow as fighters. So that's why I'm giving it an S on vibes, mainly for the three main characters and how they carried the emotional weight of the show like very well. Jules, where are you gonna rate it for vibes?
I'm giving it an S as well. I just love these little characters, love these little guys, love the main trio. I love their connection to each other. They have so much fun until they're not, and then they're just being cool. They're just doing cool shit. The music is top notch. I constantly was just, oh, this is just vibes. I'm jamming to the music. Here's some cool action
One of the
sequences.
fights, it was like just piano at one point. If I'm
Yeah.
remembering correctly.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good.
It's like they tried so many different things and just made it feel so cool. And I love the B plot sort of going away from the God of High School, starting out with the God of High School as the main thing, and then here we are, and it's like, oh, there's this bigger thing. I felt that was pretty organic in the way that it came out to be. I just love the three main characters. I love that they're constantly changing and evolving and changing their fighting style as well. We got some actual like progression of the characters, the main characters from beginning to end. Like they are different people now. And now if there's a season 2, which I'm pretty sure there will be, we that's the launching point for that, going into the next adventure as new people, and we're not the same as we were. And it's just good vibes. I really enjoyed this anime, so I'm giving it an S for vibes. Um, we had a few S's in some people's voting as well. So the final score for the God of High School is the God of High School is an S tier anime. Yeah, look at us.
There
S
it
tier
is.
anime. This was just really good. This was I was pleasantly surprised with how much I liked it, and it was really awesome. So that joins quite a few anime at the top of our list. Season 2, we have a lot of S tiers. It's a little heavy on S tier, which is really good. We got 4 S tier animes, 3 A tiers. So we've been watching a lot of really good anime this season. So I'm pretty happy
We've
about that.
been eating.
We've been eating. Anime fans have been feasting. Jules and Anime Hour fans have been feasting with the animes we've been watching. And hopefully it can continue because we're done with the God of High School. No more talking about gods, about Charyoks, Jin, who? We're talking about a brand new...
John?
Yeah, John. I don't remember his name. Forget everything you know. Boom, we're done. Claire says, I think I'm very harsh on my ratings. I enjoyed it, but would I put it around a B? Honestly, a lot of it was the really cool fighting and the music and stuff. I really just liked what I was looking at. And that's it most I'm pretty sure it was just because it's a lot of me and Matt vibe. Like we were just like, this is my shit. Here we are. But we are going to pick a brand new anime that you need to watch the first 4 episodes of before next Wednesday. And here are all the anime that are in Matt's chest right there. Ton of anime here. Some of them are suggested by you. I added Bartender Glass of God because we picked Matt's anime, so I got to add another one in there. So Bartender Glass of God, which is a brand new anime that came out not too long ago. Hopefully it's that one, but it could be any of them. There, it's picked out random. All of those animes are in there. And the next anime we're going to be talking about is
To Your Eternity.
To Your Eternity, which is another one of my picks. So
That's
then you
your
get a
pick.
pick.
Yep.
To Your Eternity, we're watching. Heard it's really good. Going to be watching episode 1 through 4 of To Your Eternity. Make sure to watch that before next Wednesday so you can talk about it with us. If you haven't seen it, that's totally okay. I haven't seen
there
it
for a while.
Yes. Matt, have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
We have not seen it either, so you can go on the adventure with us. Say if you like it. If you don't, that's fine. It could be your next favorite anime. Who knows? But that's part of the adventure. We get to discover anime together. Matt, where can we find you on the internet?
You could find me on my socials at its Matt_Galley, its Matt_Galley on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me on my YouTube at Matt_Galley, where I'll be posting some stuff soon.
Ooh.
Jules, when we're not here making our way through the god of high school, where can the people find you?
You can find me on everywhere at Jules the Human, at JULES the Human on all social media. I've been posting a lot of Instagram stories, and I have a YouTube channel that has a lot of subscribers. You're probably watching. I don't stream on Twitch. I stream sometimes on YouTube. Haven't been streaming lately. Just been working out, getting my body right. So I haven't had a whole lot of time. And I just got off vacation last week, so I'm just like chilling right now. But sometimes I do stream on YouTube. But you can watch this podcast every Wednesday on this channel, on Jules the Human, on YouTube. You can follow this podcast on Spotify as well if you want to have it in your pocket, in the car. Look up the Jules and Matt Anime Hour. You can hear us on Spotify and watch us too. The video's there as well. But next week, To Your Eternity, episode 1 through 4. Watch those and come back and talk about it with us. So that's it. That's the anime has been houred. And then until next week, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.